Hello, welcome friend. Today I will discuss Michel Foucault's term great confinement or confinement. To explain the term, two books of Michel Foucault must be mentioned here. The first one is Madness and Civilization and the second one is Discipline and Punish. The first book, Madness and Civilization, a history of insanity in the age of reason. The original French title is Folie et Dérision, Histoire de la Folie, a Les classique. The original French book was published in 1961 and in English it was published in 1964. Now I am explaining the title in English. Friends, you obviously have heard the title In Praise of Folly, that was translated into The Praise of Folly. It was a book of essay by Desiderius Erasmus, a Dutch Christian humanist. In that book, the folly means foolishness. That was the book of satire or mockery. Here also, folly means foolishness or madness here, and deranjo means unreason. Story de la folie, it means history of madness or foolishness. A les classic. In the classical age, the English title is Madness and Civilization, a history of insanity in the age of reason. Here Foucault traces the evolution of the concept of insanity or madness in three phases. Number one, madness in the age of Renaissance. Number two, madness in the classical age. Number three, madness in the modern era. In History of Madness, Foucault describes a movement across Europe in the 17th century which saw the establishment of institutions which locked up people who were deemed to be unreasonable. These unreasonable people included not only mad people but the unemployed, single mothers, divorced priests, failed suicides, heretics, prostitutes, debauchees. In short, anyone who was deemed to be socially unproductive or disruptive. He labels this movement the Great Confinement. He continues his study of confinement in his History of the Birth of the Prison. He describes the history of the birth of the prison in the book Discipline and Punished, The Birth of the Prison, published in 1975. Here he shows a new form of social space was created with the disappearance of leprosy. Foucault sees confinement as a series of social and economic measures that surrounds certain people and tendencies. Foucault sees society as creating a kind of safe place where the society put those who it saw as abnormal. These abnormal people includes criminals, those who do not work, and the mad people. Unreason or irrational included all these kind of people. Unreasonable or irrational people are confined not because they need medical attention or not out of humanitarian concern, but because the power of the state needs to control them. Separating them from normal society, the state helps to define itself. Only by controlling the abnormal can the normal exist. In the book Discipline and Punish, he explains the rise of the prison system in similar terms. The realignment or rebuilding of madness is central to Foucault's explanation of confinement. In the classical period, madness became part of a wider class of social deviance, which was defined by its relationship to work. Foucault argues that the mad did not really exist as a separate group, but only as part of a wider deviancy. Criminals and the idle or lazy people are inseparable from madmen. Houses of confinement emerged at a time when European states were expanding and exercising greater control over other citizens. In a way, confinement is linked to the creation of larger armies and more sophisticated methods of collecting taxes. All of these phenomena express a desire to control, to define people, and to create a more sophisticated economy. Foucault emphasizes the importance of economics and morality in explaining the development of confinement. Primarily, the confined people had a negative relationship with labor and the economy. Increasing economic sophistication and production led to cities wanting to resolve labor problems. Those who did not want to work were problematic. The 17th century economic crises that Foucault describes are high inflation and harvest shortages. The economic crisis was matched by political crisis in many countries. Confinement was one response to these problems. An age that tried to define normality in terms of economic productivity attempted to isolate and exclude those who could not or would not produce. But Foucault also stresses the moral dimension of confinement. Economic development was supported by an ethical theory. The ethical theory argued that work was morally good. This was only partly a Christian theory. Morality and work were closely linked, and so those who were confined became bad people. The police had a moral dimension because law and custom disapproved of idleness or laziness and insanity. A great transformation took place. Madness in the classical period was silenced and isolated. It was not allowed to speak and was seen as a moral and economic evil. Similarly, the concept of unreason was extended. Unreason included a wide range of dangerous people. Friends, I will make video on the book Madness and Civilization. In that video, I will separately discuss the evaluation and concept of the madness and confinement in Middle Ages, in the time of Renaissance, Classical Age, modern period, etc. that Foucault discusses in the book Madness and Civilization. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much.